Untitled Gore Project, Chapter 9, Writhing Death and Fire, by Pseudo-Anonymous. Morningstar's chamber was shrouded in darkness, save for the flicker of dying embers from the last fire they'd kindled. The room reeked of blood, sweat, and fear. In the silence, Madame paced, her lips curled into a wicked smile as the screen on the wall flickered, showing a larger-than-life ASCII angry face.
"Oracle, welcome back!" Madame screamed in surprise and delight. "What do you think we should do with these two?" pointing her finger at Luann and Elsie. The cold, calculated voice of Oracle pierced the air. "Must uphold the rules. They must be eliminated." Madame, giddy with anticipation. "Oh, Esther, we are in for some fun now. Just you wait and see. Oracle will make everything better again." Just then, Oracle's tentacles slowly crept out through hidden slits in the walls. The smooth, sinewy appendages slithered out, wrapping around the ankles of Luann. Her eyes went wide with terror as the tendrils constricted, pulling her toward the stone wall. Her cries were muffled as a tentacle clamped over her mouth, squeezing with crushing force until her teeth cracked under the pressure. The slick sound of bones breaking filled the room as Oracle hoisted her off the ground. "Please stop," she managed to gasp out before another limb squeezed her neck, silencing her. Her eyes bulged, turning bloodshot. Oracle reveled in it, its pleasure evident in the way its tendrils twisted and coiled, lifting the helpless victim higher before flinging her against the far wall. The sickening crunch of impact echoed, leaving a smear of blood as his lifeless body slid to the floor. Madame stepped forward, kicking her body aside with a sneer. "Useless wretch," she spat, before her gaze turned to the remaining survivors. Elsie crawled toward the metal bar lying discarded on the ground, eyes wild with desperation. Her fingers curled around it, knuckles white as she stood, clutching the steel like a lifeline. She moved with a sudden, crazed energy, charging toward Esther with a scream. The bar came down with a sickening thud, connecting with the side of Esther's head. A spray of blood exploded from the impact, splattering across the room as the skull gave way, splitting open like an overripe fruit. Brain matter oozed out as Esther collapsed in a heap, twitching for a moment before going still. Elsie, now drenched in blood, turned to face Madame, her chest heaving with rage. But Madame only laughed, cold and cruel. "You think that will save you?" she mocked. With a flick of her wrist, another of Oracle's tentacles lashed out, wrapping around Elsie's throat. The metal bar clattered to the ground as she was yanked backwards, her feet kicking uselessly in the air. Before Oracle could strike again, a deafening crash shook the walls. Bricks exploded inward as Hank's rusted bus barreled through the stone barrier with a screech of grinding metal. Glass shattered, and dust filled the air, blinding everyone momentarily. Elsie was thrown free from the tentacles of the AI monster. The sound of the engine cut off abruptly, and for a brief second, there was an eerie stillness. Then, Hank's voice pierced through the chaos. "I've had enough of you, Madam, and that bastard Morningstar," Hank yelled from the driver's seat. "I can't sit by and watch you do this again. It stops here. So many people, so many creatures and machines. It stops tonight." Madame barely had time to react before Hank's foot slipped on the pedal, and the bus, packed with crude explosives, jerked forward again. The front end slammed into Oracle's tentacles, crushing them against the floor. The explosives in the back began to ignite with a rapid, sinister hiss. Just then, Elsie stumbles through part of the opening in the wall that Hank had created with his bus. Slinking away into the night, Madame caught her escape out of the corner of her eye, turned to her and yelled, "Where do you think you're going? Oracle is not done with you." Hank's eyes went wide as the timer on the makeshift bomb ticked down faster than he expected. Oh, shit! The explosion ripped through the room with a thunderous roar, engulfing everything in a blinding ball of fire. The force tore Hank's body apart instantly, his blood vaporizing into the inferno. Madame was flung backward, her skin sizzling as the flames licked at her flesh. The blast tore through her bones, turning them to charred splinters as her body was consumed by the flames. The fire spread like a wave, swallowing the walls, the floor, and every living thing inside. Oracle's tentacles writhed in agony as they were incinerated, the stench of burning flesh and rubber filling the air. The entire structure groaned under the weight of the explosion, cracks spiderwebbing across the stone as the fire raged out of control. The fire consumed the building from the inside out, smoke billowing into the night sky. Morningstar was now a smoldering ruin, the screams of the dying swallowed by the roar of the flames. And as the inferno raged on, Hank's words seemed to echo in the air. I hate this place. Hello, bonjour. I am Crandall. Welcome to the podcast that answers the question, if an infinite number of monkeys will write Shakespeare, what can a few dozen monkeys do? This is an interactive podcast, the ultimate writing prompt. And together, we're going to write this story. It's almost done. There's 10 chapters, and that was chapter 9, written by a friend of the pod, pseudo-anonymous. Thank you so much, Pa, a.k.a. Pa. The genre for this story is horror. Subgenre is gore. In this episode of the podcast, I will be asking you guys to write chapter 10. This is the last chapter, unfortunately, because Paul wrote chapter 9. Pseudo-anonymous, you must not write chapter 10. I am so sorry. Actually, I really enjoyed your chapter. I think, I mean, you got something. You've got a talent, and I appreciate that. And it's so nice and gory, and it's so much better at action than what I do when I try to write action. So I appreciate it, and thank you so much for taking the time out to participate and to write. And speaking of pseudo-anonymous, they have left us a message, and of course, here we go. I'm going to read it now in the segment I like to call the chapter hero's words. Does that work? Well, dear readers, I must say it was quite the challenge to arrange those final pairings, especially with Luann throwing us that little curveball. But you know me, I do enjoy a good narrative puzzle. I decided the most intriguing match would be to pair Elsie, our resident bog monster expert, with the unexpectedly trigger-happy Luann. I hope you've enjoyed this little literary journey as much as I've enjoyed crafting it. It's been a pleasure, as always, to share these stories with you. Until our next chapter unfolds, happy reading. Very nice. Thank you, Pseudo-Anonymous, for those lovely heroes' words. And, yeah, I think we all did enjoy it. And I really do appreciate you taking the time and the effort to contribute to what I'm trying to do here. You've done a great job. Thank you. But anyway, I'm going to ask someone else besides Paul to write chapter 10. But if you're like, I don't know what to write, don't worry, because there's a brainstorm. It's coming. Brainstorm. And but as Paul has shown, you do not have to follow the brainstorm. But if it helps you to get those juices flowing, or you can write exactly what the brainstorm said, I don't know. It's up to you. Now, for this podcast, we have a guru called T.L. Bodine, who tells us the beats T.L. Bodine doesn't just tell us the beats. No. T.L. Bodine tells us some tips and hints on how to write gore. So let's listen to one of those now. Here's a guru tip. T.L. Bodine says, research realism and decide when to abandon it. If you go too over the top with a gory description, you'll venture into laughable instead of scary. It's a good idea to know some basic anatomy, how different wounds work, how much blood you can expect from certain kinds of cuts, what organs look like, etc., etc., etc. You can do some primary research on this, if you can stomach it. I have been known to look up some supremely gross, haunting imagery before when trying to describe something specific. I don't necessarily recommend this. You can't unsee some of those images, but it can certainly help. A less traumatizing option may be to read medical texts, books by medical examiners, medical blogs, etc. The better you understand whatever it is you're doing, the more confidently you'll be able to describe it in a way that will make the reader squirm. Well, thank you very much, T.L. Bodine. Actually, I think that'll be the last guru tip for this season of the podcast. T.L. Bodine has been an unflinching guiding star, and I'm assuming we couldn't have done this without you. T.L. Bodine is linked everywhere. Go check them out, etc., etc., etc. And, oh, do you hear that? Is that, I think it is. It's a fucking brainstorm. Amazing. This is the final brainstorm of this story. Let's go and sneak through this Spooky Room Productions secret passageway into the Spooky Room Productions lounge and see who's there, if anyone, to brainstorm with us. I wonder. Ah, and here we are in the Spooky Room Productions lounge. And who's that in the big comfy chair next to the fireplace? Who is it? Who's this bearded fellow?
Stanley.
Hello?
It's Stanley.
Stanley. Like Stanley?
Yes.
Is he dead?
He's very dead.
Oh. Or maybe it's Ripley.
It's me.
Stonebrook.
Oh, it's me.
Surprise.
Yeah.
How are you?
It's Friday.
Yeah.
I love Friday.
Why?
Because we get to do a podcast.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, then don't be too sad because we're almost done the whole thing, you know.
Well, we're going to do it again.
Probably.
We're going to do it again.
If the numbers support it.
Oh. Well, we'll at least do mine.
Will we?
Yes.
Oh.
That will go on. It's undead. It will go on forever.
That's true.
And maybe even have another episode this month before Halloween.
I think everyone would love that.
I do just have to hand you the files, but
That'd be
it's
cool.
so hard to hand them over.
I mean, why?
Just to put them on a disc and then give them to you?
A disc.
Jeez, Louise.
Like those little hard floppies.
A record.
Anyway, we're here because we have to come up with a brainstorm for chapter 10, the final chapter of this story that we don't have a title for yet, but you posited that we should just use the last line of chapter 10 as the title for the whole story. So if someone else wants to write in, you can we will go with that. Whatever the last line is, or the last few words, or whatever would make sense for a title, will be the title of the whole thing. Thank you, Pa, pseudo-anonymous, for writing in and giving us chapter 9. What did you think of chapter 9, Rip?
I'm so glad Hank is back.
Well, now he's dead too, though.
Yeah, I would have liked him to stick around, but what are you going to do?
You know what? This chapter was a lot of fun, and there was some really weird cockadoodies. But, you know, anything can change in the cutaway.
That's right. Things happen.
Like, I just to say, and Pa, this is totally fine, but the teams changed. It used to be Esther and Elsie versus Madam and Luann, and now all of a sudden it was Madam and Esther versus Luann and Elsie. Which is like, okay.
Which is fine.
Especially since they all died, and, you know, who cares? And people have changes of heart.
But I did make a mistake in who was holding the gun.
That's true, so that may have
I could see why the confusion would be there.
Then I would assume it would be everyone against Madame, or Madam, in that instance.
I'm just saying that I wasn't the most clear, so I could see anything happen.
That's true. But besides that, super great, very nice and detailed, nice and gory, lots of fun, explosions. This is action-packed.
There was so much descriptive gore.
It was very good descriptive gore.
There was lots of gore on that one. I think that was the goriest chapter of all.
Yeah, which makes sense because it's at the end and it's supposed to be a gore story.
Yes.
I mean, really, Pseudo-Anonymous is just doing such a great job. Thank you so much.
And the other cockadoodie, I would say, if you want to call it that,
Sure.
would be that the tentacles come out of the wall because we established that the machines are kind of controlled by bog juice. But
Ooh, you're right.
in their world,
that does throw away.
they might have some just regular old machines.
That's true.
So there you go.
That's fine. We're all okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's the kind of ship we run here. Very tight, loose ship.
A tight, loose ship. It's tightly loose.
It is tightly
If things
loose.
get too tight, then we force them to loosen them in a tight way.
That's exactly right. You don't want it to be too tight.
No.
That's no fun.
That is constricting.
Fuck that.
I will get elastic lines around my waist area.
Oh.
It's too constricting.
That's too constricting.
Mhm.
Okay, for chapter 10.
Before you read the beats,
Yeah.
who has to write it?
I mean,
If nobody else writes
if
in.
no one else writes in, it will be me.
Oh, all right. I'm loosey-goosey now.
All right.
Woo, yeah.
Hey. No. No, we're supposed to be selling the writing of these chapters as something that's fun and that people should do.
Yeah, I absolutely will.
And both of us are like, no, please.
It's so much
I
more
don't
fun
wanna
when I
write-
don't have to do it.
I know, right?
Especially when you're brainstorming, you're like, I don't have to work out the foibles of all this.
We always get there.
I'm just going to give network notes.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to finish up with beat 14 and 15, and beat 14 is our half beat, the inevitable fallout, show the consequences of whichever choice is made, and then beat 15, evil cannot be conquered, only delayed, 666 words. If the hero failed at 13, show the monster relishing its victory in a changed world. If the hero succeeded, show a hint that the monster may yet return. I guess I should read 13. Sacrifices are made or not.
I already know what we're going to do. I just figured it out.
Oh.
I just figured it out.
Well, there you go. This is going to be the shortest brainstorm ever. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
Well, I figured out the second beat anyway.
Okay. Lay it on us.
So when the evil returns, it'll be, like everyone will be standing outside, whatever happens in the first beat that we just went over that I already forget. But at the very end, while that's happening, Oracle, like bits and pieces left of Oracle with its tentacles, scampers out of the building, holding Madame's dead corpse, running towards secondary bog. So Oracle is going to bring Madame to life using the bog.
Okay. So there's a secondary bog? I thought it was just a bucket of bog juice.
Oh, maybe he's carrying a bucket of bog juice, too.
Okay. No.
There we go.
No, that makes sense.
I like that better.
No. But if you think about it, okay. Where chapter 9 ends is with the only person alive is Elsie. She escapes through the hole that Hank's bus made. I do believe she's still alive.
Yeah, we saw
Everyone else has been
Madam
vaporized.
saw her scamper out the window.
Was it the window? I thought it
Mhm.
was the hole that the bus made.
Oh, well, it might have been.
Anyway.
And also in my mind, that whole room happened on the second floor, but whatever.
Oh, really?
Well, that's just the way I imagined it, but I didn't specifically say so, free game.
I imagined it to be like a ground floor workshop. I didn't. But anyway, doesn't matter. So we have Elsie, so if we want a secondary bog, even though I think that's kind of
No, I don't like that. I like
lame,
bucket of bog
to be
juice.
honest.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's more fun if it's a bucket of bog juice.
Yeah. Back to original plan of secondary bog juice in a bucket.
Okay, so we still have to deal with what Elsie is doing. So she escapes the workshop, and she is beat up. Is she beat up?
No.
I feel like she picked up the bar, and then it says the bar came down with a sickening thud. So
Elsie hurt?
So Elsie gets the bar, and she smashed Esther's head.
Mm-hmm.
Esther dead. And then it was going to be Elsie versus Madam, which was the original showdown that we did suggest we wanted.
Yeah.
And then Oracle attacks Elsie.
No, didn't Oracle attack Elsie's henchman, which was Luann?
Yes, Luann was crushed by the tentacles.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
These are all great sentences we get to say
Yes.
because of Pa, so thank you very much.
They're metal tentacles, so they're not squishy.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But that did happen, but I'm looking at it right now. It says Elsie, okay, after Esther was bopped in the head and destroyed, says Elsie, now drenched in blood, turned to face Madam, her chest heaving with rage, but Madam only laughed, cruel and cruel. Blah, blah, blah. Just a second. Oh, with a flick of her wrist, another of Oracle's tentacles lashed out, wrapping around Elsie's throat, the metal bar clang to the floor, blah, blah. So, and she was yanked backward, her feet kicking, and then Hank comes in, and Elsie was thrown free from the tentacles of the AI monster. And then Hank says some stuff, and then just then Elsie stumbles through part of the opening in the wall that Hank had created with his bus, slinking away into the night. So Elsie does not have her weapon, but it doesn't matter. Everyone is dead now, even Hank.
Yeah, because of the explosion.
But she is slightly injured. I mean, if you wanted to make something of her being, like her throat being sore or something, I guess you could.
And the building is destroyed.
And the building is destroyed. Oh, that's right. Fucking all of Morningstar is gone now.
There's no her bringing it back for anything. She's just got to sort of leave.
I guess that's so I guess chapter 10 is Elsie is standing outside mourning the loss of everything.
Morningstar.
Of everything she knew and how she was raised, and the bog is gone, Morningstar is gone, but then maybe then she feels the freedom of the loss. You know what I mean? So I mean, you could do something like that, but that's not exactly exciting or gory. But I mean, who knows how? It doesn't have to be 1,000 words.
Yeah, this could be a quickie.
But and then if you wanted Oracle to have some kind of tentacle with the bog juice in Madam's body, which I think was good. So I guess we can write the little thing about Elsie feeling sad, but then discovering freedom in that. And then at a different part of the thing, Oracle has the bog juice, but where was the bog juice stored that Oracle could still get it even
in the barn?
In the barn. Yes, okay.
Of course.
So maybe one of the baby spider robots survived and we didn't know.
Oh, and he's running around with bog juice?
No, because he only has to drag Madam's body to the barn, and if the bog juice is in the barn. So, I don't know. We don't
wouldn't the baby spiders be dead because they're controlled with bog juice?
Oh, you're right. Shit. But I mean, isn't Oracle controlled with bog juice? Oh, no.
No,
Oracle is
just
not.
A computer, and we've established already it has movement after bog juice is
Okay,
gone,
you're right. Okay.
It has to be Oracle.
Okay. I mean, how is a tentacle?
It could have, the tentacles are attached to something, and that something is now its body, and it walks around with tentacles.
Maybe... Okay, I don't think that the Oracle original Tandy machine was in the room where the explosion happened. If that does anything.
Yeah, maybe it just connects to another computer somewhere.
I don't know, but this is sketchy. I mean, if the only problem is how do we... That's the only problem is how does Oracle move after the building has been exploded and the bog juice controlling any of the little robots is gone. I don't know how to solve that problem.
Well, Oracle has tentacles.
Yeah, but the tentacles always came out of walls and stuff. Wait. No, I was going to say there's tentacles in the barn, which there kind of is, right? There's some kind of tentacles.
There are now.
Well, there was those chains and stuff.
Like Oracle is definitely connected to parts of the barn because it was speaking down there.
That's fine, but that's not really the issue. That's why I kind of stopped myself from talking. Because I was like, the issue is getting Madam's body from the wreckage to the barn. That's the point of what the fuck. So at least we've nailed down the problem. We just have to get Madam's body to the barn, and Oracle has tentacles in the barn, but I don't know how to do that. And I don't think Elsie would do it. Wait. Would Elsie do it?
Because she's, now she has nothing.
Yeah, now she's like, well, she has her moment of like, oh, everything I know is gone and blah, blah, blah. And because I guess with Oracle now destroyed, things would have to kind of go back to the old ways anyway.
Oh, well, Elsie could also be doing cleanup after all the, stuff. She's still got to, not get arrested by the cops. Maybe she's going to move some bodies into the barn. She's like, okay, I'll get the bodies to the barn.
No. People's bodies were incinerated. They're gone.
Well, Madam's isn't.
Oh, shit. Actually, I should have done that. Looked at this before we even went down this road. Madam was flung backwards, her skin sizzling as the flames licked at her flesh. The blast tore through her bones, turning them to charred splinters as her body was consumed by the flames. So there is no body.
There is no Madam.
So
I guess Oracle can just run off with some bodies then.
I mean, this is very difficult. Huh. I mean, the only thing we can do, like, I don't see that.
Oh, who was that first maid that was in the very beginning?
Fiona?
Yeah.
Elsie's daughter or niece or something? Yeah.
What happened to Fiona?
She became the cat head monster.
Right.
She died a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, is there nowhere to go from here?
I don't know. Because, like, what else could Elsie do? All we have is Elsie being sad and then feeling good.
Yeah.
And that's
basically the end.
The end. I don't know how I'm going to make that gory.
Yeah. And there is no,
There's no way to be like, oh, but evil still lurks. Unless, like, okay, like we say the thing with Elsie's, change of heart or whatever, and then, or maturation or whatever you want to call it. And then it just cuts to like, but there's a bucket of bog juice in the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
With nothing there, no one interacting with it, but the bog juice bucket is there.
It's still there.
I mean, we could do that.
I mean, you could do like, the cops are showing up and they find the bucket of bog juice or something. Or
they'd be like,
the
what?
Villagers show up.
I suppose with all the explosions and the fire.
Yeah, people could come up and see. And then they could discover the extra bucket or something.
Huh. Is there any reason for Elsie to go to the barn?
Oh.
Like, what has happened in the barn recently?
Well, there could always just be like, now that they're stuck there, she's like, oh, well, I guess I'll grab the, the ATV that's in the barn and go back to town.
Yeah, or I guess that since her whole house is destroyed, maybe she needs a place just rest.
Just to stay for the night, yeah.
So she goes to the barn and finds...
It just starts raining, she's like, I'll go to the barn, I'll be like, okay, I'll just get out of the rain, and blah, 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 and then finds, the
bucket of bog juice?
In the back room, yeah, an extra bucket of bog juice.
Okay.
Yeah. She's like, I'll start again.
Okay, so
and this time, it'll be good.
Yeah.
And then, you start seeing the cracks.
Wait a minute. Oh, no. I was going to say, and Elsie's pregnant. Because I think that'd be funny. But because the thing is, I did set it up in like chapter 1 or 2 or something that this is a family thing, that one family is left from this little village that used to take care of the bog, and only one family is left. So she finds a bucket of bog juice and she's pregnant.
Ooh.
I mean, that's something, I guess. I mean, who knows whose baby it is? It doesn't matter. We've only been at Morningstar for a few days.
The only male in the entire book. It's Hanks, of course.
I guess. I mean, sure.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Why not? Why not? I don't know how you would reveal that, but
that's writer's problem.
That's the writer's challenge and opportunity to succeed.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a problem.
It's not a problem.
An opportunity to succeed.
That's right. It's an opportunity to be the best you can be.
And maybe even tied into why Hank was so mad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
those ladies.
Well, okay, because we don't
Maybe
really
there was
know.
a conversation. He's like, you know what? I'm not gonna have your baby. I'm gonna kill it. And blah blah. And then he's like, fuck you, bitches. Then he went crazy.
I don't know if it has to be like that.
It could be. There's so many things you could do. Just an option.
Yes, but I thought you were saying that he came to, yeah, because Hank came in and he didn't want. What did he say? He said something like so many machines or something.
Yeah, well, they've been killing so many people, and apparently Hank knew about it.
Well, he has an intimate relationship with Elsie, as we now found out. So.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, just a second. What did he say? God damn it. Okay, Hank says, I've had enough of you, madam, and that bastard Morningstar. I can't sit by and watch you do this again. It stops here. So many people, so many creatures and machines. It stops tonight. Now, Hank might be protecting his child.
Or he just doesn't like them, you know.
I'm just trying to make it reasonable that it's Hank's child. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
Which was not even my idea. But yeah, I mean, I think that's fine.
It's an option.
It
It's an
doesn't
option.
have to be Hank's baby.
It could be anyone's.
Yeah, like we don't know like I said, we've only been at Morningstar for a few days in the story, so.
I mean, there could be any number of delivery men. That guy could just show up in the
She
next
could
chapter.
have a boyfriend.
Who could show up in the chapter.
Oh. No, I don't like that.
No, okay.
But I mean, you know, hey, if anyone out there who wants to write it thinks that sounds like a good idea, then have at it. Because, of course, as always, you do not have to listen to what we say. You can write whatever you want. Ask Pseudo-Anonymous. They write what they want. They take our characters. They generally cover all the beats we want them to. And they do a bang-up job. Cats are running crazy right now.
I know, that was wild.
Okay. Are you satisfied with that?
I guess so. There's some meat on there.
Yeah.
I wish we could flesh it out more, but there's just not much to do.
There's not.
Everybody's dead.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We got one person left. So yeah, you got the opportunity of maybe pregnant, and maybe some guy shows up. Maybe bog juice in the barn. You know, secondary bog juice that Madam had created out of the other bog, so it still exists.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's a shorty.
Well, it's the last. It's almost like I was gonna say it's like an epilogue, but it's not. I'm an idiot. Anyway,
what are we gonna do for this part on the end of the last episode?
we're gonna fucking party, man.
Oh, karaoke.
Yeah, it'll be a 3-hour podcast of us just doing karaoke.
Yes, or we'll do the theme song for the book.
There's a theme song.
Well, there might be.
Are you gonna write a theme song?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. So Ripley, how can people find you, see your stuff?
SpookyRoomProductions.com with an S. Where can they find you?
Nowhere. There's no way to know. There's no way to find me.
I think you're on YouTube.
No. That doesn't sound like something I would do.
I think you are.
So yeah, SpookyRoomProductions.com. Go see Ripley's stuff. We're still working on that Concordia.
Oh, it's taking so long. Soon, everybody.
Soon. Hold your horses.
Yes, soon.
So, yeah, I guess that's it. I'm gonna go back through the secret passage into this Spooky Room Productions studio. Bye, Rip.
Bye, everybody.
Wow, what an amazing brainstorm. I think now we're all ready to write Chapter 10. But just in case you are like, well, I'm interested, but maybe I could use some rules and regulations, and if you could actually just tell it to me in a very short 15-second kind of way, well, guess what? I have just a thing for you. It's called my 15-second R&R, rules and regulations. Let's just do it. Rule 1.
Every podcast, I will explain the beat. There will be a brainstorm. You can do your own idea. You can do the brainstorm. And who decides if you've covered the beats? As long as you cover those beats, I don't care what this story is about. It's me. I'm the arbiter of that. I'm the one who decides if you have written the beats or not. Okay. I haven't found my fucking other timer. By the way, I'm very unhappy. I don't like this new timer. It stinks. But anyway, that's not what we're here to do. You might have noticed I'm trying to actually say almost the entire... Usually I just kind of casually say, and then when the 15 seconds are up, I just stop and say, well, if you want to know the whole rule, you can just go look it up. I'm going to try to do it this time. I'm going to try to actually say it since this is the last one. Okay, here we go. Chapter 2 now. Rule number 2. In each chapter, there is a 1,000 word limit. There's 10 chapters with 1.5 beats per chapter, 666 words for 1 beat, and 333 words for the half beat. So yeah, but you don't have to. It's a word limit. So like, oh shit. Okay, well. Rule 3. Any form is fine. You can do a haiku. You can write it in a screenplay format. You can write normal prose. You can stay in your comfort zone. You can experiment. This is the place to do that because there's no consequences. And it doesn't. Oh shit! I'm really bad at this. All right. Rule 4. Keep things R. Okay, and this is about the detail and the sex and the violence. If you find yourself describing someone's genitals in great detail, you've gone too far. Just think about like an R-rated movie and what you would see on the screen, and then just like describe that. Oh, violence, not just the sex, and that's hard. Okay, no, I didn't. Okay, okay. Jesus Christ, what a day. Rule 5. I am not going to edit anything, and I will read the story exactly as it is presented to me with your grammar, your spelling, your punctuation. But this is not about perfection. It can be rough as you want. This is a place to play. There's no pressure. It's not like you're trying to be published. Just fulfill the beats for the chapter and you can you'll be fine. Oh, excellent. Rule 6. Research is optional. You can bullshit if you want. You can research if you want. Whatever you want. Whatever you write, if it fulfills the beats, it will become the truth in the story, whether or not it is the truth in reality. So, you're free to... Oh, okay. Rule 7, the tombola. So, after a week and a half, after this podcast drops, I'll randomly draw from the qualified entries, and that will be forever part of the story, and I'll read it on the podcast. And if there's no entries that qualify... Oh. Okay, rule 8. How to submit. Take your 1,000 word limit chapter. You can use your pen name or your real name. You can put a 100 word self-promo or disclaimer or whatever you want me to read after I read your chapter. The name of your chapter is not... Damn. All right, and finally, there is an illustrated podcast on YouTube. My Crandall Monk page, you can submit one piece of artwork to per submission period on spookyroomproductions.com. And the same deal, you can put your... Oh, okay. Yeah, spookyroomproductions.com at the A Few Dozen Monkeys page. I'll link it everywhere, obviously. And remember, there is no sign-up fee. There is no reading fee. But you also get no payment. But I don't want your email. You don't have to put anything into that form other than the chapter. And I think the only required field is the name. But you don't have to put your real name, so who cares? Now, I'm sure you're just about ready to go and write that chapter 10, finishing off this exquisite corpse, as I found out that this style of writing a story is called. But before we go, let's fill your tank with one final author quote. Anne Rice says, "If you want to be a writer, write, write, and write, and write. If you stop, start again. Save everything that you write. If you feel blocked, write through it until you feel your creative juices flowing again. Writing is what makes a writer, nothing more and nothing less. And remember, there are no rules for our profession. Ignore rules. Do it your own way. Thank you, Ms. Rice. That is something that I think we all needed to hear. The deadline for the submissions for the final chapter is November the 6th, 2024, and the final podcast of this season is going to be on November 16th, 2024. So get your submissions in by the 6th of November, and maybe if you win the tombola, you'll hear your chapter at the 16th of November. Okay, I am failing at this today. But you know what? That's okay. That's what this podcast is all about. Pushing through failure and putting it on the internet for everyone to hear. And just remember, it's better to finish something than to give up on everything. You know what I mean? Let's go.